a.m. in about 2 hours' time. Thank you so much, sir. Ashley Webster on the ground in London. Joining us right now for reaction is Nile Gardiner. He is director of the Heritage Foundation's Margaret Thatcher Center for Freedom and former foreign policy advisor under Margaret Thatcher. Sir, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here, Nile.
Great to be
Your
here.
reaction
My
to
pleasure.
what we're seeing this morning with this emergency cabinet meeting and the prospect that she may be pulling this vote.
Yes, I mean, it's a complete, utter shambles, I think, in terms of how Theresa May has been handling things, and her government is in complete disarray. And I think this reflects very poorly upon the Prime Minister and the team around her at this time. The entire, I think, negotiation process that Theresa May has been handling with the European Union has been an unmitigated, absolute disaster, really. And I think that, right now, the best thing that Britain can do, really, is to prepare for a no-deal scenario when it comes to Britain's exit from the EU on March 29th, 2019. May's deal is dead in the water. And even if this House of Commons vote does actually go forward tomorrow, May would be very heavily defeated. And so this deal is going nowhere. It's not clear what her strategy is going to be right now, but I expect that this morning she's going to announce that she's going to try and renegotiate some aspects of the deal with the European Union. Brussels has already emphatically said they're not going to renegotiate the deal with Britain. So the whole thing, I think, has been very badly handled. We could be looking really at the last days, certainly the last weeks potentially, of Prime Minister May's premiership. I do think that Britain needs a new Prime Minister, someone who can lead Britain into the Brexit era, somebody who really believes in Brexit in their hearts.
Yeah.
And Theresa May, as a Remainer, has never really believed in Brexit. And that's been reflected in her extremely dire negotiations with the European Union, which have fundamentally undermined, I think, Britain's position.
So just to be clear, do you think Brexit is off the table then over the near term?
No, I think Brexit is still going to go ahead.
You do?
This is the most important thing. Yeah, I do think that Brexit will go ahead as promised on March 29th, 2019. But I think it's going to be a no-deal Brexit, which I think is far better than what Theresa May has been offering. But it's important, I think, that Britain has new leadership, actually, in the Brexit era to take Britain down to that countdown. And basically, Britain needs a leader who will stand up for Britain on the world stage, who believes in British sovereignty and self-determination, someone who is going to really take Britain into a bold new era as a sovereign nation. I don't think Theresa May can do that.
Let's get Jason Chaffetz in here. Go ahead, Jason.
Niall, real quickly, is there any incentive for the EU to give any concessions to the UK? They really don't have any incentives, do they?
You know, I don't think you're going to see any significant concessions coming from the European Union. You know, the EU has approached the negotiations with Britain in terms of it being some sort of punishment beating for the UK for leaving the EU. So the EU has made things as difficult as possible for Great Britain. They're going to continue to do so. There's a really mean-spirited approach being taken by Brussels here. That's going to continue, I think, and it doesn't help that you have a Prime Minister who has made concession after concession, who is extremely weak-kneed, the antithesis, really, of Margaret Thatcher and how she would have handled these negotiations. So Brussels, I think, is going to take full advantage of the situation.
Yeah. I mean, you say that Theresa May never believed in Brexit. Who do you expect to be the next Prime Minister of the UK?
Well, we need to have a Brexiteer leading Great Britain, and that means that you have someone like Boris Johnson, the former Foreign Secretary, or Dominic Raab, the former Brexit Secretary, or David Davis, another former Brexit Secretary, but somebody who actually voted for Brexit, somebody who believes in true British sovereignty and self-determination. You cannot have another Remainer leading Britain. That would be a huge error. All
right, we'll leave it there. Niall, great insights from you as always. Thanks so much.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Nile Gardiner joining us. Coming up, a shift at